welcome to another vlog style video. I cannot look at the camera right now because obviously I'm driving, so bear with me on that. But we are at the start of another surgery vlog for Mr. Neville. It will be an actual surgery vlog this time around. We are actually doing surgery as far as I know, unless something crazy happens, since we didn't end up doing surgery the first time. But I am on the way with Mr. Neville right now. He's right here in the front seat that you guys can't see next to me. I'm on my way to the vet. The way that my vet does these types of appointments for like surgeries, or if we do drop-off appointments as well, if they don't have like an actual appointment time, they will fit them in between appointments, especially if it's like something kind of urgent. You drop off between 7 and 8 o'clock, and then the vet looks at them or does the surgery, whatever's going on, and then calls you whenever they've had a chance to either look at your pet, or like last time, she called me while poor Neville was under anesthesia to basically say, I don't think we need to do surgery, which turns out we do need to do surgery. So we tried everything that we could short of surgery, so we are doing surgery today. I have everything prepped. I have a couple of clips that I showed you guys, I'm sure, in this video, like right before this clip, of me prepping everything. But since I showed kind of like my normal prep in my first video that I thought was going to be a vlog, I didn't show that again in this video. I will just link that video if you guys want to see specifically what I do for the prep. So I have him in his travel cage. I have everything ready to go. So I will just give you guys an update either when I hear from the vet today, if I'm able to do it at that point. I'm going to be at work, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get out on my lunch or whatever. It depends on how busy I am today. But I will give you an update either later today. I will give you an update either later today or this evening once I get home and Mr. Neville is all home, and let you know how things are going. Alright guys, I'm filming on my phone here, so I'm not sure how this is going to come out audio-wise, but Mr. Neville is home from his surgery. He's actually been home for a couple of hours now, but I didn't want to bother him with filming and stuff in his face. So we are just letting him relax tonight. He actually ate a carrot on his way home in the car, and you can see there's lettuce in there. He ate most of his veggies for the evening. I gave him a bunch of small leaves of lettuce, and he's eaten quite a few of those and a couple of carrots. So he has been eating well. I haven't seen him eat hay yet, but I'm kind of assuming that if he is out and eating veggies, then he is also eating hay and pellets. And I think I just caught him getting a drink of water when I just came in the room. I've kind of just been letting him chill and relax, but I've been checking on him probably like once an hour at least, just to make sure he's doing all right. The main concern when a pig comes out of surgery is getting them eating, because obviously you don't want them to have their stomach stop. They already have been under, like, their body's been under a lot of stress, so you want to make sure that they're eating and all of that, which luckily he was eating on his own when I picked him up from the vet, since he ate the carrot on the way home. So I really haven't had to do any force feeding, syringe feeding, or anything like that. I'll show you guys as we go along in this video what I do over the course of the weekend. It is Thursday evening. I am going to be syringe feeding him some just to make sure he gets his strength back, and you guys will see all of that. So what we are going to do tonight is I'm probably going to give him a couple more carrots, probably just because he seems to really enjoy those, just to keep him eating through the night. I'm not too worried about him at this point because he has been coming out of his igloo, he's been moving around on his own, all those different things. So he seems to be in pretty good spirits. We are going to be giving him Medicam through the weekend as well to make sure he doesn't have any pain or anything like that. So I will show you guys this whole process through the whole weekend and give you a update and all of that through Sunday and maybe even Monday, so you guys can see the whole process of him having surgery. I'll show you his surgery site and all of that, so make sure to stay tuned. Okay guys, so it is the next morning. It's Friday morning right now. Neville spent the night in this hospital cage just so he could chill and relax and not have to worry about what all the other pigs are doing and all of that. But he seems to be doing really well. He's eating on his own still. I gave him his medicine this morning already, so I am going to show you guys how I do all those things. I just don't have time right now in the morning, so I'm going to show you guys that tomorrow. And later tonight when I get home, I'm going to be moving pigs around in the pet room so that he and Ron can be side by side for the next week, because I think they both will be happier that way. So I will check in with you guys later on today. So I showed you all Neville's hospital cage, but this is actually the cage that I ended up setting him up with in the pet room. I wanted to make sure he could be next to Ron, and honestly, they want to be put back together so badly. But I have to leave them separate for 7 days so that he can get through the initial stages of the healing process. So this is his little cage. It's about a 2 by 2.5-ish because it's a 2 by 5 cage divided in half. They're just gonna talk at me. But he has a hay bag, his pellets, water bottle, and then he does have his igloo, and he has a snuggly bed. And I put a microfiber rug down in here as well so that he has a nice soft place to lay with his belly. But you can see it's a bit of a mess right now. I'm getting ready to spot clean everyone, and that is something that is important if you have a pig that had surgery, especially on their belly, is to make sure that you spot clean every single day, even twice a day. Make sure it stays super clean, and that way you're not running the risk of infection from a dirty cage or anything like that. His cage looks like a disaster, but it's really just hay. They're not a huge fan of the Timothy hay stalks, so he's just pulled all of those out. So it's really not dirty, it's just a big mess. So I'm going to go ahead and spot clean this whole room, but I wanted to show you guys how I set up his little temporary cage for his surgery recovery. So I wanted to sit down and go through a little bit of guinea pig after surgery care with you guys, because my experience with Neville has been very different from the other pig surgeries that I've done. So normally when I've had surgeries done in the past, they were kind of like emergency situations because they both were for ovarian cysts, so they needed to get done as soon as possible. But those were with a different vet, and that vet actually keeps the pigs overnight and sends them home the next day. That way they can make sure that they are eating and they syringe feed them and all those different things and make sure that they're pretty well good to go before they go home. With Neville, he actually came home with me about 5 to 6 hours after the surgery, which was fine with me because I have enough confidence and experience with my own guinea pig care that I knew I could take care of him. So I was fine with that. So I brought him home, and honestly, he is such a tough little pig. I thought it was going to be really rough because when I first picked him up, he was just like laying out flat in his cage, just out in the open. Because of where he was laying, they weren't able to put his igloo back in with him. So he was just like laying out flat. He looked really lethargic and he didn't want to move around a whole lot. But I think that lack of Heidi in his cage had a big impact. When I got in the car, I actually took my cardigan off that I had worn to work that day and put it over the top of the cage so that he had some coverage and it was more dark and quiet in his travel cage while we were in the car. And I actually had taken the rest of the carrots that I had sent with him. I sent some veggies with him so that they could give those to him to try to get him eating after his surgery. I put those in the travel cage with him, and I actually heard him eat them on the way home. So he was eating on his own within the 5 to 6 hours after I picked him up from the vet, which was a really good sign, and I thought I was going to have to be syringe feeding him for the whole night. So that was a really, really good sign. He actually did fine eating on his own from that time on. I never really had to syringe feed him. I will show you guys, I have syringe fed him a couple times just to make sure he's getting vitamin C and the extra nutrition just to help him bounce back that much quicker. But he's been eating all his veggies. He's eaten his entire hay bag of hay every day. He's been doing really, really well and eating all his pellets. So I really haven't had to worry about him too much. I've just made sure to be spot cleaning his cage really well so that there's no risk of infection, and making sure that he gets his Medicam every day so that he's not in any pain or anything like that. So really his after surgery care has been really easy. That might not be the case if your pet has surgery. So in the past, I've had to be syringe feeding multiple times a day because they're not eating as well. They've been on antibiotics and Medicam. So there can be a lot more to deal with a guinea pig surgery depending on your pet. Especially if your pet is older. Neville is about 2.5 to 3 years old. If you had a pig that was 3 to 4 years old, you probably would have a little bit more aftercare to make sure that they are bouncing back, since their body is going to have to work a little bit harder. But for him, honestly, I was really surprised. He bounced right back, and he's been doing really well, and talking to Ron next to him and just being really his normal self, just a little bit slowed down, obviously, because I'm sure he has some soreness and a little bit of pain at his incision site, just because that's natural. Painkiller can't get rid of everything, but he is on pain medicine to keep him comfortable. So that is really the whole process with Neville's surgery. I've been really surprised and really pleased that it has gone so easy. Okay, so we have weird lighting and a weird angle, but I wanted to show you guys how I pick up Neville and how I hold him since he has his incision. So the first thing that I do is get a smaller pad, like a 2x1, 1x2 pad, and I lay it out flat like this to get ready to pick him up. And then I will just pick him up like normal, but put most of the weight of him under his front legs instead of under his butt, if that makes sense. So that way my hand that's under his butt and kind of touching his belly and his incision is not like where all the weight is, so all the weight is not on his incision. I don't know how to film that to show you guys. It's really just something that I've picked up on and can feel. So if you do have a pig that has surgery, it's going to hurt a little bit to pick them up regardless, because they are going to be really sore. But you kind of just have to figure out what works best for you, because I try to avoid touching the incision as much as I can so that it stays clean and that we're not at any risk of, tearing any scabs or stitches or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and grab him and show you guys how I do his little burrito to do his medicine. Alright, so I have Neville here. You can see he's in a little bit of a burrito. This way I can know that he is being supported and his back feet are being supported, but I'm not having to put my hand right on his incision. I'm not having to actually touch his stitches or anything with my hand on accident. And I still have control of him, and his little face is stuck out so that I can give him his medicine. So I'm going to go ahead and, I should have got this prepared, but I forget to do things when I'm filming. I'm going to go ahead, get his Medicam. So he actually is not on antibiotics, which in the past my pigs that had surgery would have been on antibiotics, but with him I think we're going to be fine. We are giving him Medicam, which is a pain med, and he does not like to take medicine. So this is just going to be a hot mess of me dripping this into his mouth, but it gives you guys an example of what you can expect if you have a pig that doesn't like to take medicine. Normally what you would want to do is put it in the side of their mouth, and then when they're chewing, that means that they're eating it and swallowing. He doesn't let me put this in the side of his mouth. He doesn't let me put it straight in his mouth, nothing like that. So I really just have to quickly try to squirt it in there and do little bits at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, that actually went smoother than it ever has before. I guess he's a little distracted by the camera, but honestly that was a lot easier. Once he had some in his mouth and started chewing, I was able to just keep squirting it in there. He did get a little bit of it on his face. If they get it on their face and it's a little bit around their mouth, I just leave it because they're going to groom it off, and that way they're going to end up getting it in their mouth anyways. So that's what I do. He is good. He's good to go. I'm going to put him back. I just wanted to make sure he got his pain meds. But I will go ahead and show you guys his incision the best that I can. And I'm going to see if I can get my boyfriend to help me film a couple clips of it later. to give you guys a better view if I can't get a good one now. But I do want to show you guys what it looks like when when a pig has this type of surgery, what their incision looks like.